Hi, Joel Brooks here with Moments in Time Video Productions and Macro System US dealer. Today we're going to be talking more about Arabesk 7 and all the great new features it has. If you have not had a chance to upgrade to Arabesk 7, I would highly suggest that you do so. It is well worth the investment. So we are the main Bogart menu here. I'm on version 8.6 to be exact, of the Macro System Bogart program. We are on the Studio Ultra Pro, and it is an amazing machine. Okay, so we're in the main menu. Let's click on Arabesk. Now here's the main Arabesk 7 menu. And for this first tutorial, I'm going to be talking about the Assistant program. If you're new to the Arabesk 7 DVD authoring program, this is an ideal way to get familiar with how Arabesk 7 works. Or if you're new to the Bogart editing platform in general, a new user, this is an ideal way as well to get to know how Arabesk 7 works in creating your DVDs. So let's click on the Assistant here. And it's the first thing it will ask you is, would you like to create a disc in video DVD or Blu-ray? And yes, we're going to create an HD project today, so let's go ahead and select Blu-ray. Now, we've got to select a film. It will ask you, we've got to choose a film from one of our 30 projects. So let's select our film. And again, we have I have nearly all 30 projects taken, so we can find one that we want to use today. And that is number 11, Medical Center. That's my project, and it's ready to go. And we want to say continue. Now we can change the name of the film or leave it the same, and I happen to like Medical Center, so we'll leave it the same for this particular demo. And so click continue. Now this next menu point, Film Medical Center Blu-ray quality, this will tell you can have it reduced, slightly reduced, optimal, or increased. I personally would like to have it in the optimal setting because it really just generalizes all of the footage and really just sees what the best optimal data rate is for your particular project. Now, if you have a lot of fast action scenes or fast camera moves, the system will really adjust itself to be able to keep up with that data rate. And it's really incredible how the system works with this new optimal feature. This is a new feature in Arabesk 7, by the way. So let's select optimal, and our reference media will be Blu-ray, of course. As we said, we're going to make a Blu-ray DVD today. And click continue. Now this next menu, Assistant is going to ask us if the film should be represented by a particular thumbnail or button with a scene image from the menu. So let's select our scene image for this. And when you click on this, this opens up your scene bin of the actual project that you're working on. And as I said, we are working on a project called Medical Center. And so these are all of the raw footage clips as well as the edited trimmed clips from this entire project. Quite a number of clips here. To represent this DVD, I'm going to select this thumbnail right there. That's a great exterior shot of the hospital. So just simply click OK. And of course, when you click OK, you have the option of trimming your thumbnail where you want it to start. But I want to leave it right exactly where the first frame is. So leave it right there and say OK. So let's continue. Now, all settings for this project have been defined. Now, at this point, we could add a secondary film, if you will, to this project, or just the one entire film called Medical Center. So I do not want to add a secondary one to this particular project. So let's select continue. Now, here's where we define the disc menu behavior. Whenever you insert a DVD disc into a DVD player, you can have it to where if you had multiple films, for example, if you had a film that had like a trailer or something, you could have it to where it would start right here. We would select start the first film, and then it would go to the main menu after that. But in this case, we only have one film in this one project, so we want to go straight to the menu as soon as the disc is inserted into the player. That way your customer will not have any confusion or wondering what's going on, why is this playing automatically, and so forth. So to keep this simple, just select Jump to Menu for this tutorial, and that will be great. Select Continue. Now, we can select the menu design now. We can actually pick a template. And we have several to choose from here. I like scene 3. Let's select this one. It's usable for 1 film and up to 4 movies, and so this will be great. Let's select this right here. And let's select the next step of this menu design. Select Continue. Now, we can set this background as the actual template. We can go to the pattern menu and change it around to a different pattern, or we could change the image from a scene, have a moving scene. This will be the actual background itself, but I want to keep it as the actual template that you just saw, we just chose. So keep it on as template. Continue. Now, disk settings definition are completed now. So you have a choice of, do you want to burn the disk? Do you want to export the ISO image? That's a really cool feature in Arabesk 7. We have the ability to export an ISO file, and this is great for archiving your master. That way you could import this ISO disk at a later time and create more DVD copies from this file within Arabesk. And this is great for, again, down the road, a few months, a few weeks, or even a few years from now. Client calls you and they say, I want 20 more DVD copies, but yet you've already cleared out Arabesk and you've already deleted it from your system. Well, if you save it as an ISO image, you can bring that back in intact into Arabesk and create more disk copies from that. So a very, very nice feature there. And we could edit the disk some more with Arabesk, but we are through with the editing process. So I'm going to select Burn Disk and select Continue. Now the film will render, and of course, again, I'm using the Studio Pro Ultra, and it's a blazing fast system using the hardware acceleration called Smart Booster, and it will really make this encoding of the Blu-ray DVD much, much faster than without. So we'll let this create here for a moment. Okay, we just completed the demo of the assistant mode in Arabesk 7. Now I'm going to create a tutorial video about the standard authoring mode of Arabesk 7. So to set this up, let's go to the project and select a project to actually work with. So let's go to number 7. It's called 2017 WCS Promo. Select that and then go to the main edit screen. And here is our completed project that I just edited recently. So now what we're going to do is actually create chapter points that will later show up in the actual DVD. And you do this during the editing process now with Bogart 8 and Arabesk 7. That new combination allows this new powerful feature. So everywhere I want to start a chapter point, in this case starting with shot 1, you click this new icon here. Boom. And you see a little tiny icon that occurs when you do that right there. And then I want another chapter point right here, so click this button again. And I want another chapter point here, click this button again. And you get the idea. You just keep doing this to everywhere you want a chapter point, and these will be creating chapter points. We'll access later. And again, you can barely see it, these little white corners. That indicates that it's an active chapter point. Now, go to the main Bogart menu, and then go to Arabesk. So now we're going to build our project. Now let's go to Disk Projects, and again we can select 1 of 10 projects. You can have up to 10 active projects in Arabesk 7. It's really nice. So go back to Arabesk. I've already created this before I started this session, so Arabesk 7 Demo, that's a great name. So let's leave that like it is. Now let's select a target format. So I'm going to select, this time I'm going to select a video DVD standard definition. So it's already highlighted, and this is exactly what I want. So we don't need to change that. Now let's set the quality. So let's set the quality, and this time I'm going to select manual. Now there is automatic, manual, and movie individually. Now for this particular tutorial, let's select manual. Now go to the data rate choice again. Now again, as we found in the assistant program, you had reduced, slightly reduced, optimal, and increased. Now for this particular demo, I'm going to select increased, even though it says critical quality. I want the very highest quality of data rate in my standard definition DVD. So it'd be just a little bit slower of a render, but not much. And on the calculation, I also will prefer either simple, normal, or intensive. And it normally defaults to normal, but today I want to select intensive. And again, that sets the highest quality of data rate for the entire project, and it's the overall quality. Now, do I want to compress the audio? No. This particular project is not very long. I have plenty of disk space, so I do have no reason to compress the audio. So we'll leave that unchecked. So let's say, okay, go to the next step. And you have the option to copy projects or remove, and you can also, this is where you would read in your ISO image, as we talked about earlier, if you've archived an ISO project from earlier. So close this particular menu. So we've completed our disk project setup. Now under the settings menu, this is where you set your hardware acceleration on or off. And of course, we always leave this on. And again, I'm using the Studio 4 Pro Ultra, and it's amazingly fast, especially with the hardware acceleration active with Smart Booster technology. It's absolutely phenomenal. And then leave the frequent prompts and warnings on as you go along with the project, and always leave all of these active. And of course, you have the option in this particular unit, the Studio Ultra, to have 2 drives. Now for this particular project, I do not want to have 2 drives to be burned at the same time, so I will leave this unchecked. So let's go, and the next menu selection choice would be Miscellaneous. Under Miscellaneous, this is where you check your media info, the manufacturer. It gives you the code if you have a DVD -R inserted, if you have the type of disc, and so forth. So that's just for media info. Drive info tells us the type of drive and firmware version that's currently installed in this particular hardware unit. And again, you can also, these systems, you can support all of these media types here. So that's very nice. CD, DVDs, and all the Blu-ray formats. It does it all. And so then you can also copy disk. It's a great feature. And then if you have an RW rewritable disk, you also have the option to clear that with this option button right here, which we will not do that today. So these 3 projects icons are now set up and ready to go to the next one. So now let's go to the Prepare menu. Under Prepare menu, here's where we actually select our movie or film to choose from. So go to Movies, and then here's where we're going to select from a project which one we're going to work with. And if you remember, we said we were going to work with the 2017 WCS Promo Project number 7, because we've already set our chapter points just a few moments ago. So select OK with that. And we are done with this menu, so just select Close. And again, we also can select your DVD media choices here if you're going to output to CD, DVD, dual layer, Blu-ray 25 or Blu-ray 50 gig. Again, that's a very large array of choices there. So, but we're going to output to standard definition and on a regular DVD for this particular project. So let's go to the next step. Now, chapters is the next step in the creation process. So I'm going to click on the chapter menu, and it's really neat. As you go along, as you can see these yellow circles, this kind of tells you where you're at in the status of as we're building this project. So click chapters, and here's where we're going to select, watch this. We can create chapters, no chapters, from each scene, every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, custom, or adopt from Bogart. Now if I click on this, adopt from Bogart, you will see here are the shot marks that were showing up now that we selected earlier, these 6 shot marks. So that's incredible. So our chapter points are already created. So it's a very powerful feature. So we're done with the first 2 movies. We've added a movie and we've created our chapter marks. So again, we have the green check marks. So as we're building this project, you'll see these green marks, check marks become more and more active to where all of these yellow circles will disappear. Now let's create a menu template. So I'm going to load one that we like here. Let's see here. I think that's kind of a cool one. It's called Sun, and it's good up to for 9 movies or 9 clips and up to 6 chapters. So I think we're good with that here. Okay. So now, again, another green check mark. We've check marked our menu template. That part is done. as you can see here in the preview window. Now, let's go to the main menu. So there's our main menu. We have the disc start menu, or we can have it, as we mentioned, in the assistant mode. The menu could have a trailer or secondary film that could play first upon setup. But in this case, once again, we just want the main menu to pop up as soon as the customer puts the DVD in their player. So that's a very common way to do it. Now, on the movies, we can have individual play, play successively, and repeated play. Now, play successively means it'll play each clip from start to finish in the appropriate order. And this repeated play is a great feature if you have a kiosk, a trade show, or product demonstration that you're doing on site or at a seminar somewhere. You can set your DVD player, and when you have the repeated play mode active within Arabesk, the video will play over and over in a loop mode without having to hit play every few minutes. So that's a great feature for kiosk and for demonstrations at trade shows and so forth. Now, the background. Now you can see our template, which already has our pre-made selection we already did. Now you can also change that if you wanted to, by clicking this icon. You could change it to that background, this skin, that skin, all sorts of things here from your image pool. And so we'll leave it exactly as it was defaulted to be. So we'll leave that there. And this is not a moving background, so we'll leave this at a static mode. So let's go on. The text. Now, we could change the font for this. It's on Action 94. I'd rather have it at my favorite font, which is Den Bold, and it changed it. And of course, we can also change the style. I like to have the smooth option on. Everything else looks great. So we've just changed the font to this main menu, as it will say in the title. Next menu option under buttons. Now, the button representation says Movie 1. You can change that if you wish by going to this icon here, and you can change any of these, and they have it colorized. Again, this was a customized pre-made template, which I happen to like. I don't want to change any of that, so we'll hit cancel and keep it exactly as it is. I really like that golden looking bar looking background. That looks really nice. Now, in the size, you can change that to small, medium, large. You can really change that to where you want it, or you can stretch it, make it bigger, smaller, and position it anywhere on the screen you want. Very nice feature. You have a lot of control when you build your menus. It's really nice. Again, Arabesk 7 is a great upgrade. Whether you're upgrading from 5 or 6, I highly recommend it. So let's go to the next step here. After buttons, we have button text. Now again, where they have it defaulted to the word Movie 1, we could change that. We could change that to the word play. And it'll say play. And of course, their default font for this template was Angela 54. And again, I'm going to change it to my favorite font, which is the Den Bold. And we'll leave it at 50. And the style, of course, I like to have the smooth option on. That's one of my features that makes the anti-aliasing really non-apparent. Okay. Let's move on. So we've got our button and button text adjusted. Now let's go to the button border. Now again, we can change the color from the defaults. We can change it right here to any color you wanted. And then you could change the type. We can change the, go to a pattern if you wished. We could have it, that to be the actual outline border on the other border. Or we can leave it back the way it was. But actually that looks kind of cool. I think I want to leave that. Okay, and then you can have the strength of it. See, that's very cool. So you can really customize it. So we're basically taking a pre-made template that Arabesk offers, and we're just enhancing or building up on the menu within a menu. And it's a really powerful thing. So let's back this down to about 5 or so. Right there, 5 or 6, and put that little edge there of that pattern, which is called a wiring diagram, and then the image pool. Let's leave transparencies on. We want to fill that all the way up on these edges here. So again, that's with, without, with. It just looks better with. I really like that. Okay, next, button shadow. Now, the button shadow, it's a really nice feature here. You can adjust the strength of it here. You can see it moving along there. You can blur it little or none. That has no blur, or we can blur it to about 18% or so. I like it about 10%. That looks good just like that. I like that. A little definition to it. And again, you can change the color of your shadows, and of course the alpha channel is at 50%. We could bring it down to about up to about 75%. Be a little bit stronger, more defined on the shadow. So again, you have lots of adjustments here for each menu option. You can change the shadow to go that way. You can change the shadow to go up, down, however you want to. I like the shadow to be right here. Okay, moving along, the next option, our activation colors. Now we can have our selection color to be yellow, which actually looks great. I'm going to leave that exactly as it is. And the activation color, actually I like red. That's where it's parked right now. So let's do the activation color red. And the actual color, the highlighting will affect the outline button, or you can have where it just affects the underline, the text, or you can have it where the mark button area will be filled in with all these colors, or mark just the text. Now in this particular situation, I want to just outline the button with this. It'll outline it in the selection process when you go to select this in a DVD menu. So I like that right there, and of course you can adjust the strength of it, of course. But you won't see this until we actually preview it once the disc is created, because this is the selection menu for the button activation to start playback within a DVD player. And that is it for this particular menu. And we have another green check mark. So again, we've got the movies added. We've got our chapter points marked, check marked. We've got our menu template, and then our main menu are all completed now. Now, let's go to the chapter menu. Now here are our chapter menu. Now this is the great part of that default template that we chose, which actually I think looks fantastic. I like that. That looks really nice for this particular project. But we can change that if you wished. Now another neat feature about this is that this little button in the upper left corner, when you click on this, you can change an element. You can affect it where it changes just the actual element or equal elements, and you can change it to all elements if you want to make an adjustment. I will show you that momentarily. And then you could make it just on one page, or copy changes to this all pages or just the actual page. For example, I'm going to copy to all pages, and let's do the actual element. So I've got actual element and copy changes on all pages. Watch this and look at there. See, it changed all of them. Now we can actually preview what it's going to look like. So there's our main menu. We can select, that should go to the chapter menu when you select on that. And there it is, there's our chapter menu. So let's go back. Go back to preview, and again, it's very nice. You can just select to start play all or go to the chapter menu here. So the preview button is a very nice feature of this. It really saves a wasted burn to see if you're going to like this, or if you like your chapter points and your colors and all that good stuff. So very nice feature there, the preview. We have all green except this right here under info. Quality manual increased, which is critical. It says data rate too high for video DVD. Now, that does not mean the disc will not work or will not play in a DVD player, but it's on the threshold of being such a high data rate that some DVD players, especially older ones, may not keep up with the demand it would require for high quality playback. So to change that, all we have to do is go back to Disc Projects, and under Quality, go back and change this data rate to Optimal. And you can do it just that fast, and then close the menu, and look there. We have all green. Green is for go, so we are all set to burn a disc. So let's burn a DVD. Okay, we've just successfully burned a standard definition DVD. Now I'm going to export an ISO image. So I'm going to click on that, label it here. We will call this WCS 2017 Master. Okay, And then I'm going to click the Save button, and it's writing the file. The ISO image was successfully exported.
Arabesk 7 for Bogart Windows and Linux. Macro System.